Hi, my name is Toby, and this is Beer and Pretzels Tabletop. Today I'm playing the Ulaya Chronicles, which is the newest game set in the Drowned Earth universe by James Baldwin. James was so kind to send me a preview copy of the game, as it just started on Kickstarter, and so today I'm playing the first prologue mission of the campaign, which is basically the tutorial for the game. Stay tuned and have fun. See you after. Ulaya Chronicles is a solo and cooperative miniatures wargame set in the world of the Drowned Earth. Up to 4 players take control of a group of adventurers who have to fight and reason their way through a narrative campaign full of dinosaurs, pirates, and other dangers. The game is delivered as a complete boxed set with standees as miniatures. 3D miniatures for enemies and adventurers are also available as optional add-on. As I am playing with a preview copy of the game, I am using miniatures from the existing The Drowned Earth range as proxy for my adventurers. Please also note that almost all shown components are prototypes, which may differ from the final game. Each scenario in Ulaya Chronicles has its own scenario deck. It contains a setup card with background info and special rules, several objective cards which have to be completed one after another, and several heat cards which lead to different events during the game and increase the difficulty while the game progresses. The board is prepared according to the setup plan in the campaign log. The board map, 2D terrain and tokens are included in the base game. The 3D terrain was added by me. On their way to the rendezvous with the rest of the group, 2 of my adventurers have become stranded on the river. The fan belt of their boat has snapped. Luckily, there is an old wreckage nearby. Perhaps the necessary spare part can be found there. My first objective is to get one of my adventurers into contact with the wreckage. At the start of the game, my group gets 3 synergy points. They are a special resource which can be used to mitigate damage or to change dice results. However, they are a finite resource and are not automatically refreshed during the campaign, only in special cases. My marksman and my brawler each get 2 action points and 1 finesse point. Finesse points are necessary to use special abilities, and they are refreshed at the end of a scenario. Usually, the enemies have the first activation of each round, but this is skipped in the first round. So we start with my adventurers. I activate my brawler and let him swim to the shore. This costs him double movement, but he still manages to get to the other side with the use of only 1 action point. After each action, I have to check if ambush markers or enemies react to my actions. Ambush markers react to movement within 5 inches and to loud noises within 12 inches. My brawler has moved to within 5 inches of the first ambush marker, and it reacts by flipping to its active side. Other than that, nothing happens. Action points can be used in any order. So I now use an action point of my marksman and try to reveal the active ambush marker with a recognize action. The action has a range of 8 inches, which is enough, and I now have to make an attribute test against the intelligence of the marksman. I roll the green attribute die and the orange feat die, and my goal is to roll below or equal to the marksman's intelligence stat of 6. I roll higher than 6 with the attribute die, which normally would be a fail, but the feat die shows a feat result, which is the highest possible success level for adventurers. The ambush marker is removed and an enemy is placed in its stead. Normally I would have to roll on a scenario-specific enemy table. In this scenario, only Dilophosaurs can show up. As the Dilo was revealed by recognize action, it cannot act right away. It also gets 2 confusion markers due to the high success level. And as I rolled a feat, the spent action point is refunded. My brawler activates again and makes a charge action against the Dilo. This is a movement action combined with a free melee attack. Normally the Dilo would react with an attack of itself. However, instead it does nothing and 1 confusion marker is removed. The brawler now rolls against his close combat stat of 7 plus 1 for the charge. And as I roll below the target value with both dice, the result is a nailed it. On this result, the brawler's weapon causes 4 points of damage, so the Dilo rolls 4 defense dice against its toughness of 3, but it manages no successes and all damage goes through. The Dilophosaur has only 2 wounds and is defeated. And 1 heat marker is placed on the first heat card. The card is flipped as soon as 3 heat markers are on it. The charge has brought my brawler to within 5 inches of the next ambush marker, so it is flipped to its active side. Next, my marksman activates and also swims to the shore. She gets to within 5 inches of the ambush marker, and as it is already active, it is removed and replaced by a Dilophosaur. As the Dilo was spawned as a reaction to a player action, I now have to reveal a card of the corresponding AI deck. But only the first action is carried out. The Dilo does a ranged attack against an enemy within 8 inches, which also has the stun effect. The target during enemy reactions always have to be the active player model, so the Dilo spits at my marksman, who unfortunately can't react to this special spawn action. However, because of the forest she has light cover, which decreases the marksmanship value of the Dilo by 1. Enemies only roll a single die, and the Dilo has to get a 5 or lower. And it hits. The attack has a damage value of 2, and my marksman has to do a defense roll against 3. She fails with both dice and suffers 2 points of damage. 1 more and she is flipped to her injured side. And because of the attack's stun effect, she also loses her last action point. None of my adventurers has any action points left, so the first round is finished. At the beginning of the second round, all action points are replenished. And then, from left to right, the enemies activate. The first Dilo activates, and I draw an AI card. It moves up to 6 inches away from the next visible adventurer, and it immediately stops when it is 8 inches away from this adventurer and in hard cover. The second action is a ranged attack with the stun effect against the nearest visible target. Both adventurers are at equal distance, so the Dilo chooses the target with the most damage on it, which is the marksman. I spend 1 of the marksman's action points to react to the shot and shoot back. The roll now becomes an opposed roll, which means that I roll all dice at once, and the side with the higher success level wins the duel and hits its target. Unfortunately, the monster die shows the special symbol, which means a frenzy result. Frenzy beats every possible success level of the adventurers, and the Dilo hits. The stun effect again costs me my second action point, and I would suffer 2 points of damage. To prevent my marksman from becoming injured, I spend 1 of my precious synergy points to negate all damage. The second Dilo activates, I reveal an AI card, and the Dilo spits with another stun attack at the brawler. I spend 1 action point for a dodge reaction. I again make an opposed roll, but this time my target value is my agility of 6. I roll below my agility with my attribute die, so I get a pass, and the enemy die is a fail, so I win the duel. The attack is negated, and I can make a 1-inch move. Unfortunately, I forget the second action of the Dilo, which would have moved into cover, and skip directly to my brawler. who now declares a charge action against the second dilo. Both dilos react to the action. The charged dilo will strike back as soon as I reach it, and the second one will carry out its standard reaction to enemy movement. If they are not the target of a charge action, dilos react to all movement within 8 inches with a ranged attack, followed by a movement out of line of sight. I make the charge movement with my brawler, and the dilo fires at the most advantageous moment during the movement. Fortunately, the attack misses. The brawler's close combat weapon has a reach of 1, so he does not have to be in base-to-base contact in order to attack. As the attack dilo automatically strikes back, the roll is opposed again, and I win with a nailed it result. The dilo fails to prevent enough damage and is killed, which nets me another heat token. All action points are spent and the round is finished. At the beginning of the third round, the remaining Dilophosaur activates. It carries out a ranged attack and then moves into hard cover and line of sight to an enemy. As it has no targets for the first step, the dilo only moves into position. I could react to this movement with the brawler, however his sidearm causes noise and would stir up surrounding ambush markers. Instead, I activate the brawler and do a charge action against the Dilophosaur. I also make sure that I move into direct contact with the wreckage. I win the duel with a nailed it, and the dilo is defeated. This produces a third heat point. The card is now flipped, and the card back instructs me to flip all remaining ambush markers. The next heat card is flipped when I kill another 3 enemies. As one of my adventurers is now in direct contact with the wreckage, I have completed the first objective, so I can flip the card. I actually found the necessary spare part. However, I also seem to have stirred up a juvenile Utah Raptor, which is placed in base-to-base contact with my brawler, attacks him, but fortunately misses completely. My next objective is to reach the boat with the spare part and get away. The brawler attacks the Utah Raptor with his last action point, but this time both combatants miss. The marksman can't shoot at the Utah Raptor as it is in close combat, but she also does not want to get any nearer to it. So she retreats back to the boat and trusts in the abilities of the brawler. The next round begins with the enemy phase. As the raptor is already in close combat, I don't have to draw an AI card. Instead, it just attacks the brawler. He spends an action point to strike back, but the opposed roll ends with a victory for the raptor. Only 1 defense die is successful, and the brawler suffers 1 point of damage. I use the brawler's second action point to attack the raptor. But again I fail the roll and the raptor would win. So I use the brawler's finesse point, with which he can re-roll combat dice. This time he is successful, and the final result is a nailed it against the raptor's pass result. The raptor only prevents 1 point of damage, and as it has only 3 wounds, it is defeated, which generates another heat point. The marksman right now hasn't got anything to do, so she just chills on the boat. And during the next 2 rounds, my brawler just returns to the boat, which completes the last objective. I flip the card and look up the fitting resolution in the campaign log. Both adventurers have managed to escape, so all group members get 1 extra finesse point and 1 experience point. The next adventure awaits. Okay, so this was my first mission of the Ulaya Chronicles, the Prologue Campaign, and as I said, the first mission is basically a tutorial mission, so don't expect too much of a challenge, but I think you could still get some pretty good first impressions of the game from this mission alone and the basic mechanics, and that the game can be very unforgiving and very deadly based on the rolls you do and the choices you make, how careless you are with reactions of enemies. Everything can go downhill pretty quickly, and I have to say I like that. I like that with solo and cooperative games when they are really hard and unforgiving, but still fair, I think. In this case, you can really play around the mechanics. You can try to sneak by the ambush markers. You can pick out the dinosaurs one at a time, but you can also go in guns blazing and just see what happens. And my guess is bad things will happen. But we will see in the second scenario, which will I bring in a few days, I think. I will record it right away after I record this one, and then I will just edit it and bring it out as soon as possible so that you can get a comprehensive comprehensive impression of the game and just decide for yourself if you like it or not. The Kickstarter campaign is going on as we speak, so you can find the link to the campaign in the video description. And that's it from me for now. If you liked the video, then please give me a thumbs up if you like. And you can subscribe to my channel. And I will post video battle reports and let's plays on this channel from now on in regular intervals. Just so you know, this channel is my second channel. My first channel is actually in German, as I am perhaps, as you have heard from my terrible accent, German speaking originally. And I'm translating my German battle reports. I have like 80 videos by now with Let's Plays from different games, smaller, bigger games. And I'm translating them one after another. And I'm posting them on this channel so that you can also follow along and watch videos on games you may like, you may know, you may not know, and decide if you like them for yourself. So if you want to see more battle reports like this one, then just subscribe. And I can promise you there will be much to come from me. So thanks for watching, and I hope we'll see each other the next time. Bye bye.